Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm Mario here. We are from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Originally I was supposed to be going back into the forms of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transforms, but to be honest, I think we should probably do a Mario's favor by the forms of able to actually doing a brand new redo Let's Play for our YouTube channel. This time around, we are now back onto the Nintendo 3DS recording session after events of, let's just say Mario Party the Top 100, that the last time we did done the forms of the recording session on the 3DS, but that was back in I would say about 9 months ago right now. So that I digress. So today we are about to be presenting you our redo Let's Play of Mario Kart 7 for the Nintendo 3DS. This game did first came out in 2011, and as far as I can tell, because we did, I'm presuming Koopa and Shy Guy both did manage to done this game before. But it turns out that the actual video quality is going pretty okay. Well, nothing amazing, but just to be more accurately, a little bit average, to say the least. And also worth noting for is the fact that it's really hard to able to actually hear commentary, stuff like that. So as a result, that we might actually do this game for a second time as a redo Let's Play for our channel. And as a result for that tradition, that hopefully the quality should be a lot more better than last time. And hopefully the commentary will be much more, well, a little bit more improvement this time around. Because although, after all, that we did manage to done our redo Let's Plays of Mario Kart DS back in 2016, all the way up to 2017. And then also we did done Mario Kart Wii redo Let's Play during the likes of in 2017. And now we're in 2018, meaning that it's now time to able to do Mario Kart 7. Whilst in the forms of next year, oh man, we might actually do a whole bunch of Mario Kart series of Let's Plays, don't you think about it? Yeah, I should hope so anyway, because either way, we figured that we might actually do the modern series first, and then jump into the forms of the classic series after that. So, it might be a little bit of an opposite way for able to doing that, but either way though, enough about that explanations, so... Obviously, the main focus of this Let's Play, if you couldn't tell by this point, is the fact that we are once again going to be going through Grand Prix mode, just like in Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, and, you know, you get the idea. And, just like before, that, we normally start things off with 150cc. Now, we're not going to go for Mirror Class mode, because it's essentially exactly the same thing as, you know, 150cc, except, you know, courses have been completely flipped, because when we get to Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that we might actually get ourselves our new class by the forms of 200cc. So, but I digress, enough about that. So let's go and jump into the forms of 150cc and just about to get started. And as far as character roster goes, even though that we accidentally show you guys by the forms of Rosalina. Now, naturally speaking, that there are a grand total of 16 regular playable characters, 17 if you want to include your me. So naturally speaking, we have a really odd choice when it comes to character selections as far as I'm aware for this game. So, as you expected, we've got Mario himself, and Luigi, and Princess Peach, Yoshi, and especially Bowser, Donkey Kong, Toad, and Koopa Troopa. The only 8 starter characters you got to start with in the forms of in Mario Kart 7, which are, you know, the 8 starter characters, but we have 8 unlockable characters as well, by the forms of Daisy, ever since Mario Kart DS or actually, technically speaking, ever since both Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, because Daisy was also being an unlockable character in those two, in these two games specifically. And, also, what's really weird is that Wario is going to be the unlockable character, when that was before when Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS / Nintendo Wii U, including the recent game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that, you know, Wario will become an unlockable character yet again, but I digress. So yeah, also Rosalina returns ever since in Mario Kart Wii, in addition with the returning 3 main trios as far as I'm aware. Oh yeah, in addition to Shy Guy as well. And also we get ourselves our new characters to be able to play around with. Like, for instance, Metal Mario, which is a completely reskin of Mario, but in a metallical look. And also Honey Queen from Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. In addition to those characters, we also have Wiggler to our table, and Lakitu with a red shell in his back. So, That's a pretty odd choice when it comes to the actual character roster in this game, because as far as I said this before, that before when we get to Mario Kart 8, that we might actually get something a little bit more, you know, expansive of all things. And what's really weird also is the fact that this might be the only modern Mario Kart game that Waluigi is not a direct playable character. I mean, that's kind of a huge bummer back in the day. Well, up until when it gets to Mario Kart 8/Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Thankfully though, that Waluigi did manage to make his playable debut once again. So anyways, for the start of this particular episode of the Forms of Mario Kart 7 Redo Let's Play, we might as well get started with the first cup in our way, and just like in the forms of in Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, we always attempt to start things off with Toad for the first episode. And what's unique about this game compared to the forms of the past Mario Kart entries is the fact that, as you can see, we actually have an addition to these kart customizations, means that you can able to actually change those different parts of your disposal, meaning you can actually change the vehicle part, change the tires, and especially with the gliding feature as well. And we'll get to more details onto that as soon as we're able to actually get things started with the actual main game, but from now on though, we'll keep things fresh and simple while simply just able to go for a normal status, including by the forms of the, well, the B-Dasher kart ever since in Mario Kart DS, so far as worth mentioning. So yeah, as you can tell, that much like in the previous Mario Kart games since Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, there are once again 8 cups to your disposal, but even then, when you start the game off, you always have to choose between Mushroom Cup and the Shell Cup, but you have to unlock Banana Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, Leaf Cup, Lightning Cup, and Special Cup, respectively. So even then though, that's quite a lot of things to unlock. But much like last time in the forms of how it does in the previous Mario Kart Let's Plays, we'll go for these cups in a chronological order. So even then though, let's get started by the forms of the Nitro courses as far as I'm aware, and that is the forms of the Mushroom Cup. So even then though, we'll get things started right here. Oh, first off, we need to see what the actual courses that actually contains. So we have Toad Circuit, Daisy Hills, Cheep Cape, aka I would say Cheep Lagoon in the American version, and Guy Bazaar. So because the North American version actually calls the third course Cheep Lagoon, just because much like in Mario Party Island Tour and even Mario Party 10 as well, and possibly Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe as well, sometimes any courses do have their own different names. So even then, let's get this thing started. So here we go with the first course in this game, and that's the forms of Toad Circuit. So it's kind of weird to be able to actually let Toad has his own circuit now. And much like always, you know, whenever the 2 disappears, then, you know, up to a boost starts. So yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, this is Mario Kart 7. If you ever played any other Mario Kart games before, you know exactly how this game plays out. Except, well, there are some really new noticeable additions in the forms of able to actually introduce into the actual game itself. Is the fact that, well, for one noticeable thing, is that the trick system is no longer existent, well, until when it gets to, like, well, there is still a trick system, but either way, though, you can't able to actually just do a wheelie yourself into the forms of the actual bikes, because obviously bikes is nowhere to be seen in this game. And instead it's got to be replaced by the forms of the new features of this game is actually introduced by the forms of gliding. Yes, gliding. Like, you know, you can able to, you know, drive on land, on the sea. Well, I say sea because, well, we'll get to that until we get to the third, you know, the third course of the game. So, and ever since in Mario Kart DS, we actually have to deal with the forms of only, oh, what the, okay, I think Rosalina's defending herself from here. And I pretty guarantee we accidentally keep the blooper with us. So yeah, I cannot believe how this game is now 7 years old, at least ever since in 2011 I should say. I really do apologize by the forms of my commentary speech for this point, folks, because one thing I should probably point things out is the fact that I've actually got myself my sore throat at the moment, so yeah, don't expect me to able to actually just talk like pretty awkwardly right now, but I digress. So yeah, there you go, folks, that was it by the forms of, well, yeah, the Toad Circuit. And let's just move on to the next race. I haven't really touched upon Mario Kart 7 for quite some time at this rate. Yeah, me too. Especially noticeable because we are usually more used to with Mario Kart 8 right now. Especially noticeable with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe recently for the Nintendo Switch. But usually speaking of such, that's as far as I can get. Alright, so the next course in the lineup is the Forms of Daisy Hills, which is kind of a more accurately a cool level kind of thing about it. Speaking of Daisy, as far as the noticeable with the forms of the 8 unlockable characters, unlocking characters is actually pretty simple and self-explanatory in Mario Kart 7, is the fact that obviously you do need to able to utilize, claim first place in any different cups, to be more specifically 150cc class. Well, it informs of me, which is yet again the unlockable character, just like in Mario Kart Wii, and also same applies for Mario Kart 8 as well. Well, to be more accurately, it informs of in the original Wii U counterpart. Because of that though, you essentially have to pick any type of class you want to go for, so yeah, that's like a redundancy as far as you might as well consider that. And as you can see right from the start though, I'm not exactly a pure expert at the game though, just because, well, we still usually become way good at it back in the day, but it's just how unfortunate because of how the fact that we haven't really touched upon this game for a quite a long time, especially how the physics works, and especially noticeable, well, there aren't any cheap moments here and there, I don't feel like, but it's just because of the recording session, I think that's the only solution. So here's something new when it comes to Mario Kart 7 is the forms of the Lucky 7, which, either way, not only does it actually retain the familiar items we all know and love, but also it retains some new ones into their store shelves. Mainly by the forms of, well, as far as what Sonic mentioned it before, Lucky 7, and especially noticeable with the Fire Flower, which you did saw in Dream and Toad Circuit level, that one of these players did actually use that. And basically what happens is the fact that you can able to actually chuck the fireballs right at the specific opponents. And third and the final one, which is essentially a kind of the equivalent to the forms of Defend Yourself item by the forms of the green shells or the banana peel. Basically it's a super leaf, and every time you're able to actually use one of the super leaves, then, well, you know, you can essentially just able to do two different things with it. For number one, you can either defend yourself with it, or method number two is that you can able to actually stun those opponents by simply able to actually time your button presses by the forms of using that super leaf item. So yeah, that's Daisy Hills, and let's move on to the forms of the third course in the forms of the Mushroom Cup, and that will have to be Cheep Cape. To be more specifically in the UK version, whilst in the North American version, this stage is known as Cheep Lagoon. So because of that though, trying to able to translate to the forms of the North American accent or something. It could be one of its potentials though, Mario, but I digress. Alright, so there's another new thing I actually introduced in this particular Mario Kart series, and that is the forms of, yeah, that's what it says on this little billboard, Go Dive Go. And this means we can now finally drive underwater, so no need to worry about the forms of these death situations, or in this case some trial and error moments anymore, because either way, you can now actually finally swim, or in this case, well, just drive underwater now, which I'm really appreciated by this kind of stuff, because either way, unlike any other Mario Kart installments, well, I think it's pretty obvious at this point, because the reason why they don't do it from the past, because they're always trying to stick with the actual similar formula. And whilst the forms of Mario Kart 7, and especially noticeable in the later games and onwards, then it were expected to be able to make the game a little bit more fresh and so much more hectic as always, so... Oh, that little, me right there. Oh yeah, there's something is worth pointing out, is the fact that since we haven't touched this game for a certain, you know, for quite a long time, as you can tell, that one of the, other players' Mii's is participating on the forms of our cup tournaments and stuff, mainly by the forms of, like, well, because of this game's usage of the forms of the Street Pass feature, well, because of that though, we can actually race against with one of those Mii opponents in the forms of the actual, like, racetracks, so, well, it's worth mentioning. As far as I can tell already, we're actually doing not that great of the run, even by the forms of the third course. Mind you, because of the forms of the underwater physics at times, and most notably computer points in general, but either way though, it's not nearly as unfair as the forms of how it does in Mario Kart Wii, and especially noticeable with Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe to me though, just because, well, the obviously one improvable thing about it is the fact that, well, the AI is still a thing, but, oh no, I think we did that pretty badly. Yeah, we did that pretty badly. We'll take 4th place. I think the reason being for that is because, well, we're doing pretty terrible with the forms of the underwater physics sometimes. Or maybe it's because of the actual recording setup that we always do. Yeah, I'm assuming so. The final track in the forms of in Mushroom Cup we have is Guy Bazaar, which I presume is actually takes place in Arabian setting, so yeah, because that's what it normally says, like Guy Bazaar. So let's get on with this stage. So yeah, let's get into this, shall we? Alright, there we go. Nice little boost start. And I do apologize by the forms of the actual glare. Any forms of, well, it's not so much for glare, but more accurately just my screen of my 3DS's recording setup. It can get pretty pixelated such at times. Oh, that little... Why, Peach? Why? What, because she having a revenge on us after Mario Party, the top 100 or something like that? I suppose that may be true. But yeah, you get the usual items returning ever since the past few games. Like for instance, that mushrooms can able to give you a boost, and red shells and green shells is still there. And the spiny shell, though the spiny blue shell makes its debut once again, but this time they make it a little bit more of an old school looking to make it, well, no wings out of it this time, which I think is pretty obvious because they just want to go back to the original's roots or something. Because either way, yeah. Alright, so hopefully we can get Peach from this distance here, which... Oh shoot, I think I realized that she managed to able to bypass us. Oh shoot. I just realized Koopa Troopa actually takes a shortcut, or in this case an alternative route. Where's the spiny shell? I really need to let the spiny shell unleash itself. Although then again, because of the actual recording setup on this, makes it twice as difficult than the capture card recording. So as a result of that addition, then it just makes it 10 times harder than the forms of like, not only play this on our own time, but also by the forms of like, doing on this particular position. Alright, now we can actually claim first place now. Well, except for that, I think Princess Peach is gonna... I think one of the Miis is actually, trying to keep a hold of us. So yeah, you get the idea with the forms of Mario Kart 7 as far as the actual gameplay standpoint goes. It feels a little bit more, different than any other Mario Kart games, even by the forms of, well, it still is pretty much exactly the same gameplay aspects, but in the forms of with the new features they actually add in. Oh, please, 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 please. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because for a moment there, we almost gonna mess up with the forms of the actual final, gliding, thing right there. But there we go. That's pretty much it with, Shy Guy Bazaar. And I believe that also wraps things up with the forms of the Mushroom Cup itself. So, let's take a look at the final results here. I'm pretty sure we did that pretty decently. Not exactly amazing by any means. I mean, there were a few times though that, the underwater physics can take a while to get used to after playing like, Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. But either way though, that's as far as usually concerned with this. So, yeah, looks like one of the Street Pass people, mainly by the forms of like Catherine of all things, which I might as well take a look at the bottom screen, even though again, it's mainly usage by the forms of the Street Pass. Okay, so Catherine, she was in 3rd place, And Princess Peach, she was in 2nd place, as to be expected, and we actually claimed 1st place. So yeah, that's as far as I can usually say about this, and I do apologize by the forms of a different camera angle right there, because I just want to see the actual bottom portion of it right here. So anyway, jump cut right there, sorry about that, it's just my phone's storage has been full up. So either way, as far as I said this before, that much like in Mario Kart DS / Mario Kart Wii, or in this case Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, and also Mario Kart 8 / 8 Deluxe as well, there's also a ranking system, which depends on how good you are in the race. If you're doing pretty expertly well, then you would give yourselves a maximum of 3 stars. However, if you did that pretty decently, you gave yourselves 2 stars, and if you did that pretty okay run, then you gave yourselves 1 star. So, but yeah, that's as far as I can say about this. But we'll discuss more of that details onto that when we get to the next video next time. So, yeah, join us next time of the forms within Mario Kart 7 Let's Play is the fact that we are about to be moving on to the forms of Flower Cup next. So see you guys next time. Later, fellas. See you guys then.